You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 29 of Flippin' the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante, and we're welcoming back today our very own Gayle Saunders from 4th and Jawn. What's going on, brother?
Doing well, man. Just living the dream in this quarantine over here.
Now, Gayle, did you really think? I mean, you were our first guest.
He actually was.
Did you really think
sure?
you'd be here 25 episodes later, 26 episodes later?
I did, man. I saw how y'all work. I mean, you guys really put in the time, put in the effort, consistency. You guys are bringing the heat, and you guys are doing the thing, man.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it was.
Well,
it was Labor Day weekend, right before the game, right before the first game, I think.
Yeah. Here we are, quarantined.
We met up at the Jets game.
The Jets game? Yep.
When Alex Singleton and TJ Edwards were putting on the show.
We had some breaking news. Eagles just lost Richard Rodgers to the Redskins.
Are you serious?
So there goes my dreams of 13 personnel.
Wait, to the Redskins or the Raiders? That's on Raiders, I think.
Redskins.
Oh wow.
Oh, breaking news.
Raider.
We need a sound effect for that.
Yeah, we need a sound like doo 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 doo. Oh, are we gonna get copyrighted for that?
Yeah,
maybe we call the Bears. Don't the Bears have like 6 tight ends on the roster right now?
I mean, aren't they cutting Trey?
That's what I'm saying. Trey Day. So
maybe the return. So a lot's happened since our last podcast. Ironically, our last podcast dropped on the same day that Josina Anderson said that the Eagles were finalizing an extension for Darius Slay Jr. of the Detroit Lions.
You know what? Screw Darius Slay just for that.
Whoa, what do you mean?
We had our pod was we had a nice interview with Akeem Davis Gaither. We had a nice that, and all of a sudden our pod just got swamped. Like it was just overtaken by everything. So no, everybody left. Everybody forgot about us.
I mean, that's why we're back though.
Yeah, we gotta remind you guys who we are.
So Darius Slay signed an extension, $50 million, $30 million guaranteed. I think that's the highest paid corner, if I'm not mistaken, above Byron Jones even.
Right now.
Average annual value, yes. Guaranteed money, no. Byron Jones got that money.
So the question is, how are we feeling about it? I mean, we finally got our cornerback that we actually need on the defense since when? Like Asante Samuel?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't had a quarterback that has as many interceptions or pass deflections since Asante Samuel.
And that's the key. He gets interceptions, and that was the biggest complaint from every Eagles fan when it came to Byron Jones.
Not me.
I know, not you.
Yeah, I mean, we finally got a talented cornerback, CB1. I mean, we've had like CB3s and 4s the last couple of years.
And 8s and 9s.
I mean, to me, it was like, I'm not going to say embarrassing, but it was to watch our cornerback play deteriorate. Like, going back from the days when you're growing up watching, like, Troy Vincent's and Bobby Taylor's of the world and, like, Lito Shepherd's and Asante Samuel. And, like, when did quarterback play become, like, a secondary thought? I mean, we have guys out there that, we're giving up the biggest pass plays in the NFL, like, over the last year. It's like to watch our guys trailing as cornerbacks is embarrassing,
And they're young, too. It's not like they're old.
And that 4.5 speed and 4.6 speed shows up on tape. Now we have a guy.
We got guys running 4.8s beating our corners.
Yeah,
Vernon Davis leaping over our corners.
Like we got old man Vernon Davis.
Yo, Vernon is fast though. Vernon is fast.
But those old legs jumping over who did he jump over? Sendejo?
It might have been.
I think it was Sendejo who leaped over.
Whole team, damn.
He hit the whole team. The old man Vernon Davis, who's now retired. And he was practicing his crying on ESPN.
Yeah.
And
he got into acting, right? Something like that. He's making a movie.
Yeah. So he had all that stuff. He's the one hurdling. I mean, and every week last year, I had a tweet. The Eagles are the most hurdled team in the NFL because every week someone hurdled someone on the Eagles. Every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually factual.
Because they're undisciplined. All they're doing is going for ankles, and then they know, so they just jump over them.
Well, now we have a cornerback that is actually disciplined. That was actually in the same scheme that we're running in right now. He's back reunited with Jim Shorts. Darius Slay could play all positions, and the best part about it is he's locked down Terry McLaurin. He's locked down Amari Cooper.
Locked him down.
Like, Cooper only has one touchdown, or maybe no touchdowns against him.
He has 0 touchdowns.
0 touchdowns. Look at that. Like, we actually have a cornerback.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen like his experience against Cooper, 0 touchdowns, 3.5 yards per attempt, 20 yards a game, 33% catch rate. That's 2 games, 12 targets. Our cornerbacks versus Amari Cooper.
Oh my God.
5 games, 44 targets, 4 touchdowns, 11.1 yards per attempt, 98 yards a game, 64% catch rate.
Bro, 98 yards a game against Cooper. That's wild. That's bad.
I mean, if you look back, I mean, what's his name? What's his name? I can't even think of him at this moment. Our cornerback.
Which one? We have a new one every week.
There's Ronald Darby. There's Jalen.
Yes. Ronald Darby. I mean, Ronald Darby tore his ACL trying to cover Amari Cooper.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
But I mean, I think having Darius Slay, man, he gives that kind of confidence. And with his ability, it kind of makes other offenses a little bit more predictable if you can shut down a elite level caliber receiver.
Mm-hmm. But my only thing now is that we have Darius Slay on one side, but we still have Sidney Jones. We still have Rasul Douglas. We have the ghost of Ronald Darby somewhere around there.
No, the ghost that demon has been exorcised.
Listen, man, he's still not signed. Do not underestimate Howie, bro.
Yeah,
Don't underestimate him.
Howie knows if we get a notification popping up on our phone, the Eagles have resigned Ronald Darby. He knows he will have the masses at his office. Like, what the hell are you doing?
I mean, it's a possibility if he comes for like cheap. I mean, I don't want to see it.
I think any dollar spent on Ronald Darby is too much.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to move on.
So the question is, like, are they going to stick with this? I mean, I know Kaplan on his podcast was talking about that the Eagles are going to go cornerbacks in probably the second round and so on. Is there a cornerback that you guys feel like free agency-wise right now that could fit with Slay? My guy's Logan Ryan right now.
Yeah, I was just about to say Logan Ryan. I mean,
Logan
Ryan, he's a talented guy. I know Teron Davenport, who covered the Eagles for a long time, is now covering the Titans. He was co-signing Logan Ryan, and I think he's a talented guy. He had a pretty solid season, so I think he probably wants to make probably right around like $9 million or something around there.
I think his last price was 10. I think that's way too expensive for Howie's taste. So if it drops down to 7 to 8, maybe on a 1-year deal to reestablish his value. Yeah, but you're saving that for a man who's a behemoth, and he's been torturing Eagles fans on Instagram and on Twitter every day with his Instagram
we're gonna get into this conversation
and his likes. And he liked my tweet. I'm on his page, so we'll get to that in a minute. But that you're saving all that money for him. So,
I mean, that's interesting. I mean, the whole Yannick thing is interesting. I think having him would be a luxury to this defense. But
that's what it is, a luxury, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think about his skill set in the wide 9, like he's a perfect fit in that sense. Go get the quarterback. But how much is that worth? Like, I mean, are you willing to give up a first round pick or a plethora of and the whole it's been weird how some people are saying that there hasn't been an offer on the table or there's no discussions. I mean, there's been discussions, bro.
Yeah,
like everybody knows that Yannick doesn't want to play there, and everyone knows that everyone's calling and making offers. So, shout out to Chris Malley.
I feel like that's where we're trending towards.
My boy Chris.
No, but I think people are putting together some kind of packages or offers on the table to figure out what it's going to take. I mean, if you watch the Jaguars move in with their players, they've fumbled the ball over the last couple of years. So I don't believe what I'm hearing out from media at all about the Jaguars.
No, they lie. That's they're like, oh, Jalen Ramsey's going to stay. Well, he's gone.
And he was traded next week.
They traded Nick Foles.
Gone.
They traded Nick Foles. Gone. Yeah. It's only a matter. AJ Boye gone. It's all of pretty much the whole defense from when they got robbed versus the Patriots in the AFC Championship game is gone. So
Telvin Smith, he didn't even play last year, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he retired.
I was going to get to that. Yeah. He took a year off in a sense.
He's like, I'd rather retire than play for the Jaguars.
Let's trade us Miles Jack. I'll take Miles Jack.
Oh, for sure.
They had a legit defense back then.
They did. They were in discussions for like the best defense of recent memory. But they just the Jaguars. Coughlin just coughed it up.
No pun intended.
No, 100%.
So after the Slay trade, we signed in Philly's very own Will Parks, backup safety actually from the Denver Broncos, and that's kind of like lit up Eagles Twitter completely. Like everywhere you see on Eagles Twitter when it comes to Will Parks, it's like we've signed the second coming of Asante Samuel or Malcolm Jenkins. Are we putting Will Parks on that high of a pedestal right now, or is that too unfair?
I will say that I got an interesting comparison that I kind of like, and I'm going to look more into to see if there's any parallels to this. Someone told me, Alberto Torres he just messaged me on Twitter. It could be our next Lito Shepherd and Michael Lewis. I like that. I like that comparison.
Will Parks?
Will Parks and Darius Slay together could be our next kind of Michael Lewis. And I love Will Parks, and I've been conversating with him, I like to say conversating, with him on Twitter a lot. He's a big fan of Philly Sports Network. Big fan. We're actually sending him a shirt soon. I got his address. I'm not going to drop it here. Dating? It's been about a week. So
he's in the DMs, heavy.
I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious.
Chris about to have another baby.
Yeah, that's right. No, don't let my wife hear that because we're like, this quarantine is killing us.
I like signing. I mean, I think you get another guy with versatility, a guy who's played slot, corner, safety. He's played some, that Malcolm Jenkins role. I think, he's North Philadelphia's own. Took a little, discount to come back home. He had several other offers from other teams. But I think the only thing that concerns me is he grew up liking the Cowboys, I heard.
His dad.
I think his dad was a Cowboys fan.
His mom was
a fan.
Yeah.
So he was probably a Cowboys fan. Well, I'm gonna let it slide.
He said in the conference call. Was it today? He's a huge Dawkins fan.
Okay.
You grew up a Dolphin fan? He said.
He's a Dawkins fan.
Oh, Dawkins fan. I'm like, what?
See this jersey right here? There's number 20. That's what he was talking about.
So now,
you can't be a Cowboys fan and then be a Dawkins fan. You can't.
It doesn't mix. But here's what my confusion is they signed Jalen Mills as a safety for the Malcolm Jenkins role, but they got Will Parks for the Malcolm Jenkins role. Who's starting and who's not starting?
I was listening to Adam Kaplan, and he said that Mills is probably not in that role. We could take it with a grain of salt, but he said that Mills is probably more of a matchup guy, that he's going to be probably put up with the slower like tight ends. If someone's in the slot and it's a slower slot receiver, maybe he'll match up on them. I could see him more like that. But because Mills, we can't really say he's in the Malcolm Jenkins role because Jenkins had the speed to really get in the backfield and mess things up. Mm-hmm. Mills doesn't have that.
No, he just has the tackling ability.
Yeah, he can tackle and he can guard in the red zone because he doesn't have 15 yards of cushion.
You think they have Jatavis Brown as well? Like he played some dime linebacker. I think having all those versatile pieces. Look. I mean, Jalen Mills versatility, Avonte Maddox versatility across the way. I think the Eagles are just bringing guys with like versatile skill sets, and I think they're going to just try everyone. And I think Jatavis Brown and Parks. I feel like are they just guys at this moment? I'm gonna give Will Parks a little bit of the edge. I think Jatavis Brown is more of just the guy at the moment, fill out that depth. But he has those athletic traits. Tested like 85th percentile coming out of Akron, 2016. I think some of the issues that he had was some of his tackling, being undersized. But I think the athleticism, linebackers that run 4.4s, in theory you like it, but I'm not sure how he was in coverage. I don't think he was all world.
I know bad. He was bad.
Yeah. And I know Will Parks was their Denver Broncos' best cover guy on tight ends last year, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's good with that. He's. I think his completion percentage while being targeted was pretty good. I saw a funny post from Michael Kiss, another friend of the show, that he sort of highlighted Will Parks giving up a 3rd and 11, but he saved the touchdown. So he was like, Jim Schwartz saw that and was probably drooling all over that. Give up a 3rd and long, but save a touchdown. That's the ultimate bend but don't break, right there. That's Jim Schwartz special. But Will Parks last year, when targeted 37 times, only allowed 21 to be completed, 56.8 completion percentage. In 2018, 28 targets, 18 completions, 64.3. Tackles are a little bit of an issue. The last 2 years, 7 missed tackles.
Not more than Eagles, though.
What?
Not more than Eagles corners.
We got Nate Gary, who had 13 last year. And Jatavis Brown, who a few years ago had, I think, 14 or 15. So it's just the Eagles' way. It's the new norm.
Discounting the Yannick rumors, because obviously he's not here yet.
Yes.
Is this finally the defense that Jim Schwartz wants? Like, are we finally going to see like an actual like top tier defense with Slay on the outside and possibly Will Parks like doing his thing, or maybe the revamp magically of Sidney Jones, or he drinks from like the Eagles like beak or something and just gets all this crazy Hercules magic?
I think this is they have an opportunity to do some things. I mean, with Hargraves next to Cox and Malik, you're just talking about for me, it's always about the interior pressure. I think having that kind of, a guy like Hargraves who can, beat one-on-ones consistently with, who are you going to double in those situations? And I think having a corner outside that can actually hold on for another half a second or a second,
yes,
will make offenses predictable. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like it's nothing super intense or like about strategy when it's all about interior disruption. Like two guys that are going to wreak havoc right off the bat. I think that's what will set everything up for this defense. I think if we add one more playmaker, whether it's through the draft and a cornerback or safety, or even linebacker. I mean, I think those are going to be the missing ingredients. There's one more player. I mean, you could. Everyone's talking wide receiver first round. You could always go cornerback too. But I'm sure Eagle fans wouldn't want that. But I think
they'll riot.
Eagles Twitter will blow up.
They'll be down for maintenance or something like that.
You're saying like that extra half second on the back end that Slay is going to give. He's going to give like maybe an extra 1 or 2 seconds of coverage on the back end. And I saw Mike K of NG.com. He said yesterday that Sidney Jones is working with notable DB developer and trainer Ronnie Braxton in Texas' offseason whenever the quarantine, I guess, lifts. He's worked with Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, AJ Bouye, Bradley Roby, and Will Parks. So if he's working with a guy of that caliber, the chance is there for Sidney Jones to reclaim that draft pedigree that he had before he tore his Achilles. So if you're having Sidney Jones on the outside and the other Jones on the other side that can give at least another half second or more of coverage, you're going to see at least 5 more sacks next year, 5 to 6 more sacks, because the Eagles were top 5 in pass rush win percentage last year. They just weren't getting home because the coverage was so damn soft. The quarterbacks were getting the ball out so quickly. Like people want to harp on there's no sacks. Well, it's because the quarterbacks are getting the ball out in 1.5 to 2 seconds. Well, what defensive end is getting there in 1.5 to 2 seconds? It's just not going to happen.
I mean, and the teams are like, it's a copycat league, so they obviously they're seeing where the Eagles are weak at, and like the intermediate and the short to intermediate range. That's where the Eagles are getting killed. Cornerbacks, they'll even play jam and not even put hands on. Like they play up to play press on wide receivers and still don't get hands on wide receivers.
They're just staring them in the face, and then just.
So, I mean, you got Darius Slay. I mean, that's if you give me one more guy on the other side that's halfway decent,
that's what I'm saying. We just need one more piece on the other side.
One more, dude. And if
it could be a young buck from the draft, it could be somebody from the free agency. I mean, like I said, like Logan Ryan's still available. And there's a couple other corners still available, if I'm not mistaken, that are decent.
Right now we got, let's see, Jimmy Smith is going back to the Ravens, I think.
Yeah, he's signed.
Prince Mukamara is still out there.
Still available.
Rashad Breeland is still out there. I'm surprised that Nico Roby-Coleman, Mr. Pass Interference, is still out there. He's pretty good. I mean, he's still not signed. We got overrated former All-Pro Xavier Rhodes is still out there. Jason Verrett, the former first-round pick who didn't pan out. Still got Logan Ryan, like you said. And I think we have Mr. Comeback out of retirement, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie.
Oh, yeah, but that's not going to happen.
He's only 34.
He's the original with the green hair. I don't know how Jalen Mills and him will, work out in the locker room.
Get different hues. Different.
It'll be like that Spider-Man meme.
DRC, man. That's a name I haven't heard in a minute, dude.
So I guess we just got to wait and see how they fill out that role. Speaking about filling out a role.
He was the Kevin Cobb trade.
Yeah.
Cromartie?
Yeah, when they sent Kevin Cobb to Arizona for DRC. Kevin Cobb. Ah, fuck that guy.
So speaking about filling out roles, wide receiver is still the biggest question mark on the team. We still got Alshon on the squad, who apparently was supposed to get cut, and they didn't sign nobody in free agency. Is it kind of like, to me, it's too worrisome that they're banking on the draft because you don't know what you're getting out of the draft. Like, 49ers moved up to 13. They could easily get Judy. Ruggs is not going to fall down to 21. People are thinking he's going to be the first one off the board. Lamb would be the perfect draft pick for me, but the likelihood of him even coming close to the teens is going to be not interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think, but I do think from, like, just watching the draft and like watching prospects over the years, and this is one of the deepest like wide receiver class I've seen in a while. Like, I mean, the OBJ draft class there was some talent, but did it go this deep? I'm not sure, but I really feel like, and I've been saying it for a long time, I really feel like they need to double dip in this draft. Like, if they drafted 3 wide receivers, I wouldn't care, because I feel like you could completely reset your wide receiver depth chart with this upcoming draft. And if my problem is, like, if you don't get it right, you're gonna have to call me to get a job so I can help you all get the right wide receiver, because guys that I've been targeting the last couple of years have hit, like Deebo Samuel, guys like in the second round, like those. I still can't believe some of the guys that they passed on, but I feel like
it's obvious to everybody except them. Isn't that the weird thing? Like, it's obvious to Eagles fans and analysts who they should be drafting at the moment that their pick comes up, and they don't go that way. They go the complete opposite way, where they end up with somebody who's just.
So I really feel like it's opportunity to get better via the draft. Like, normally, I mean, I don't think they can, if they get it wrong with this draft. I mean, like,
Oh, if they get it wrong, like that's
all hell's breaking loose.
I mean, there's so many guys around at 21. even if you actually move back from 21, I mean, hopefully you could land like a Rieger or even like a Justin Jefferson if you move back, or I mean Brandon Ayuk. I mean, there's so many.
Even Mims. Like, even though our own Liam Jenkins says Mims doesn't really fit here with Jaw and DJs,
I'm not gonna lie, I agree with Liam. I feel like it's just double dipping with JJ Arcega-Whiteside all over again.
I just think
Mims has the speed.
Mims has 4.38 speed.
I get that, but he same traits as JJ.
Still, but with 4.38 speed. Who on the Eagles roster outside of Deshaun Jackson has 4.38 speed?
Jackson, Deshaun.
Greg Ward.
Greg Ward, okay. He's probably going to be wide receiver 6.
Yo, put some respect on man's name.
I love Greg Ward. I bought his Houston jersey. I have it in my closet right now. I have his Houston jersey. I love Greg Ward, but I think he gets a chance at the slot receiver job, but I think he ends up being wide receiver 5. Like, he's a great story. He's kind of like Brashad Perriman.
Yeah,
like Brashad Perriman did so great because Mike Evans was out, Chris Godwin was out, O.J. Howard was doing nothing. So who else are you going to throw to? Greg Ward stepped up when Alshon Jeffrey was out. JJ wasn't getting any targets. They didn't want when Zach Ertz wasn't getting any targets. They were giving it to Greg Ward, and he was making the most of it. But he was on the practice squad for a long time for a reason.
I mean, if you go 2 years back. The one guy they always mentioned that was like the one guy that shined at camp was Greg Ward. So it's very.
Jenkins even said it as well.
It's very worrisome for me to think about our coaches and our guys that are making the decisions on who get opportunities. How they did not see him as a talent that they could bring up or utilize in some fashion, because that's worrisome to me that you could have Matt Collins out there for
running those great routes,
doing nothing, and you have a guy like Greg Ward who consistently makes plays. I mean, you can go back on my Twitter account and see how many times I posted Greg Ward making plays in preseason, and well, it's interesting. I still don't think Greg Ward's the answer, but I'm saying that
no, he's a great story, and
I'm more worried about the minds that are selecting wide receivers around him.
I think they're getting too cute with it, honestly.
Are you guys feeling about Djax? I mean,
I'm concerned.
You're concerned? Okay.
Just because Djax is never he's not always 100% healthy, and to put a burden on him where he's wide receiver 1, depending on who they draft, that's the only part that concerns me, especially if you don't draft somebody who could bring the same speed as Deshaun Jackson to back him up when he's off the field, kind of thing.
He's only played 16 games twice in his 12-year career. He's played 15 games 4 other times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he played 14 games 2 other times. And then his next is 12 in 2018, then 11 in 2012, then 10 in 2015, then 2019 was 3. So, yeah, you need depth. I'm concerned if they don't get someone who can run as fast as him or close behind him, because we saw how impactful he was when he was on the team for that one game. Mm-hmm. 2 50-yard bombs. And then once that was gone, the whole playbook was just shit. It
was bad.
It was terrible. So you need those.
They depended on his speed too much.
2018, he led the league at age 32 in 2018 with 18.9 yards per reception.
Yeah.
And it's technically he played in 3 games last year, but we know it was really just 1. He had 17.7 yards per reception. So we need that. We need that back.
Now, are you guys opposed to bringing back Alshon?
Yes.
I'm in the middle with that right now.
I don't want it back.
I'm in the middle with that.
No.
Whoa! Look at it! Look at this guy taking a stance, drawing a line over here.
I tell you what. We've been in contact with someone who's part of the organization, and he's very
sauces.
Very
sauces.
Yeah, I'm telling you. In our first episode 2 weeks ago, I was like, listen, when we first started this, I had like 400 followers, and now I'm at 1,200. I got sources now. It's my business is booming. Okay. So it's
lay it on us.
I was talking to him, and he was adamant that Alshon. Everybody knew it was Alshon. Everybody. He didn't want to confirm who was the one who approached them in the locker room, whether it would be Kelsey, Brandon Brooks, but he was once that report came out, everybody knew it was him. I asked him because people were talking about Malcolm once he was gone. People were talking about Malcolm, and I texted him. I said, "You sure was it Malcolm?" He said, "No, 100% no." You know what? I will read you the text right now.
Oh.
So he said, he wasn't the snitch. I can be 100% on that. Best leader on the team. Malcolm Jenkins. So
yeah. Well, then also Chris Long said that Alshon wasn't the snitch.
So yeah, so we got a lot of people. So who knows? Maybe it was Nelson. Maybe it was Nelson.
I don't know. That's why
now Aguilar has his $1 million deal on the Raiders.
Bro, that's a terrible deal. How old is Aguilar? Like what? 20, 26, 27?
Has to be.
But I mean, if he's been inconsistent. So I mean, you're like gambling on. I mean, what better city to gamble than Las Vegas?
Oh, hey.
Do they not know about his strip club record?
He will be 27 in May.
That's what I'm saying. The only problem about Alshon, just like the strip club reference, he's always coming up short. Always coming up short. But I think that 2017 Super Bowl run, he had a phenomenal year. I think the confidence level. I think if you put Nelson on if you put too much on his plate, then that's when he gets panicky. Yep. If he's wide receiver 3, he's fine.
No,
that was 2017.
You just got to show up.
That was 2017. You had Alshon, you had Torrey Smith, you had Nelson there as a complementary to the complement. That was him. He was the slot. He was the third option because it was Alshon, it was Zach Ertz, then it was Torrey Smith, and then it was Nelson Aguilar. It was like he was target 3 or 4 in the reads. So he was fine. And the same guy I've been talking to, he said he confirmed it. He was like, when Nelson has a down game early in the year, he lets that linger throughout the whole season.
Well, he was pouting in the locker room, sort of, and D-Jack was like, "Yo, man, one of these weeks it's going to be you that needs to step up." Obviously I had a great game week 1, but you're going to have to step up next thing you know, Alshon goes down, D-Jax goes down, and here we go. Nelson,
and he drops the game-winning pass.
Bruh. I mean, that was how difficult that was to watch live.
Bro, I know. Oh, you were there.
With that stadium. And
my God.
And we got ridiculed on the way out. But I thought the game was still – I thought we had a chance, but just – that's why I was watching the series on Amazon. I got to that episode. I stopped watching because I got so mad. I didn't watch it for like another 4 or 5 weeks.
Damn.
I was like, yo, I can't watch this. I can't relive this wide receiver group. But yeah.
So since we're talking about wide receivers, do you think so? Now Robbie Anderson is signed. He's going to Carolina. Perriman just got signed as soon as we started the podcast. He's going to New York. Funches is with the Packers. Does this help the Eagles' situation in the draft now, where like they have a shot of landing? Because to me, like it's bigger. It's big 3 or bust. Like you could get a Rager, you get a Hamler, but the difference makers is between Lamb, Judy, and Ruggs right now, in my biggest opinion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, those 3 are 1A, 1B, 1C. It really, like in most drafts, you have a definitive number 1, definitive number 2, and so on. I think to me, they are just like, give me one of them, and this offense is going to take off. Mm-hmm. So it's
about being a difference maker. That's what they need.
Right, like right now, I don't think any receiver goes in the top 10. The only threat to that would have been the Cardinals with Lamb to reunite him with Kyler, but they got Hopkins now.
Can we just side note on that Hopkins thing?
Huh?
Can we just like put a pause with the Hopkins crap? The Eagles are involved in damn conversations for DeAndre Hopkins, but chose not to go that route.
Yeah, but we don't have if the price was Miles Sanders. I'm sorry.
Hell no, yeah,
I
absolutely
love
not.
Hopkins. I love Hopkins, but if you're let's say you're giving up the same package that the Cardinals did, and you're giving up Miles Sanders, and would they give up a second for Hopkins and a fourth?
Yeah.
Second and
So
fourth.
so you're giving up Miles Sanders and a second for DeAndre Hopkins and have to pay him $20 million. I'm not doing that.
That's why we close, and you understand me finally. It's Miles Sanders, bro. There's no Sanders slander.
I know. It's not with you. I just have common sense.
I mean, and also, you're talking about a guy who balled out his rookie year, most explosive plays on the team, and you get Miles Sanders for $5 million for his whole career. I mean, for 5 years. I think, or 4 years. So I think what he's shown, he's going to be a bargain for what they're paying for.
100%.
Love Sanders. So now let's go back to the draft. So you're saying nobody in the top 10? Absolutely not. No wide receivers. So
I'm right now, I'm on Draft Network right now. So let's say Burrow goes 1 to Bengals, Young to the Redskins, Okudah to the Lions to replace Slay. Giants are a little wild card for who they're going to pick, but I think they go tackle. Tristan Wirfs. Then you got Tua to the Dolphins, Herbert to the Chargers. Panthers, most likely, going interior defensive line with Derek Brown. Cardinals, Mekhi Becton to protect Kyler. He's very athletic, so you need an athletic tackle for Kyler. Then the Jags will probably take Isaiah Simmons, even though I love him and I wish he would be on the Eagles, but he won't. And then you got the Browns, who need offensive tackle also, who could be a popular trade target with the Eagles to trade up. You could offer them the same exact package the Steelers did to move from 20 to 10 last year for Devin Bush. This year's first, this year's third, and next year's second to move up to 10 to take Lamb. But let's say they don't. Then all right, so you got the Browns taking Jedrick Wills, and now you're at 11.
Hey, but those are two guys that are Howie's aces.
All right,
Joe Douglas.
Yeah, he got
and with the Browns. So
yeah, so Andrew Berry. So he got at 10 and 11. He's got he got some guys that he helped get jobs.
Mm-hmm.
He helped them get those jobs.
I'm sure he has some blackmail.
They wouldn't be there without Howie's help. So you're looking at the Jets at 11.
And maybe Howie's got nudes, man. Maybe he's got.
He has to.
Yeah, they probably. Yeah.
He probably hit up Douglas like, "Hey, remember when you were in Elway's jacuzzi with his wife naked?"
You know what? Douglas and Berry probably expensed their OnlyFans membership to some of these girls on Twitter. So he could probably pull up the receipts. He's probably gonna pull up the receipts and be like, "Listen, look at what you expensed." And then
imagine how he just FaceTime you, just put up a receipt like, "Remember this?"
You see that?
That would be the ultimate Howie move right there.
Yeah. So with sunglasses on too inside, like you see this. So the Jets' main team needs right now, after signing Perriman, offensive tackle and edge. So if you say, all right, maybe they want to target edge a little later.
But they target wide receiver with losing Robbie Anderson.
But you see, like again, we talk about the depth in this draft, but it's like they need offensive tackle. They've signed a bunch of number twos. They've signed a bunch of depth pieces. None of them can start, and you feel good about Darnold's health. Dude, Darnold is already reckless with his tongue. Like, he's getting mono all over the place.
And seeing ghosts.
Yeah, he's seeing ghosts. So you really want him to keep seeing ghosts?
I mean, that comment alone right there, he's like, "I'm seeing gausts." That should tell you everything about the direction of where the Jets need to go. I mean, it's the biggest concern, though. I mean, the gauntlet, you're going through the Raiders and the 49ers, who are both wide receiver.
And the Broncos. Right afterwards.
Oh, Bucks at 14, right? And then Broncos at 15.
Mm-hmm.
That's the gauntlet.
So let's say the Jets take Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. Now that's Raiders are right there. Biggest need is wide receiver. Mm-hmm. This is where Daniel Jeremiah said today he wouldn't be surprised if Ruggs is the first wide receiver off the board. Raiders, even though Al Davis is gone, they still love their speed. So let's say they go Ruggs.
I hope.
And then you got right there the Niners. They can go C.J. Henderson at corner. They can go CeeDee Lamb. They can go Judy. They can go Kinlaw to replace. Like, imagine trading Buckner, and all of a sudden you just replace him with Javon Kinlaw. That's ridiculous. So let's just say they go Kinlaw. Then now you got the Bucks. Top offensive tackles are off the board. They need a running back. They're gonna draft a running back at 14.
Yeah, but now Howie has to negotiate with Tom Brady.
Yeah, all right. So, but you know what? Maybe Brady takes a back seat and he talks to Licht, who isn't that good as a GM. And he says, listen, you need a running back. You're gonna get blasted for taking a running back at 14. Trade back with 21. Value is much better at 21. You can grab DeAndre Swift out of Georgia, Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin. That's fine, better value. Let us get that, and then you can move up to 14 and grab a CeeDee Lamb, or Judy.
Still a little.
I'd rather
risky,
Lamb,
bro.
I'd rather Lamb. So we move on from there. So let's say, okay, I'll move on. Let's say they take Josh Jones. Let's move on. That's a reach. Then you got the Broncos. They definitely need a wide receiver across from Cortland Sutton. So that's where Lamb or Judy would definitely go. Let's say they take. I'm making Lamb drop like crazy. Then you got Falcons. They need a corner. They need edge. You got Clevon Chason. You got C.J. Henderson there. So let's say C.J. Henderson. Then you got the Cowboys. They are a wild card to me because now with
a lot of needs.
Now that Travis Frederick is gone, they need a center.
Still need a safety.
They need a safety. They need edge help across from. They need a corner. They could also grab a number 3 receiver to Cooper, Gallup, and imagine they grab Lamb that 3. Mel Kiper put out a draft today. I haven't been able to see it, but I need to see it because I will be a little humble brag here. I will be on the conference call for his to talk about his draft tomorrow. I will be on it.
Very nice.
So
flex TL.
I have to
Subtle flex.
And when I also had to flex today, Brian tagged me in that stupid push up.
This guy.
So his thing took like 15 seconds to do 10 push-ups.
Bro.
I saw that. I was like, listen, I gotta pump it out right now. I gotta pump it out. So I went to sleeveless shirt and I got it done. 10 seconds flat. Anyways.
What does that do?
Yo, this guy is flexing.
Anyways.
Pun intended.
So let's say Cowboys take Christian Fulton because they know they're gonna have to guard some of the Eagles' wide receivers.
Yeah, Kiper has Cowboys taking Lamb.
I was gonna say they haven't. I'm gonna talk to him about that tomorrow. How are you gonna have him taking Lamb? Lamb's not number 3.
He has Eagles. Why does everybody have Eagles taking Justin Jefferson?
I like Jefferson.
Yeah, but
I mean, I think he's you can use him as a big slap. I think he had a solid combine.
But the issue is,
I mean, it's just not really sexy.
Yeah, that and if you really want to run 12 personnel,
I'd honestly rather have Ray Gore over Jefferson.
Yeah, because he's speed.
Yeah, part of me is like, can you move back and still get Rager though?
I think so.
That's how I feel. Like I love to move back and then still get Rager. I feel better.
I mean, the draft that I'm doing right now, like we got Dolphins at 18. They need tackle. They need interior offensive line. They need safety. Let's say they take McKinney. Now you got the Raiders at 19, who have already dressed wide receiver. They need a corner. They need interior defensive line. They need another safety. They take Delpit. You got the Jags, who need interior defensive line. They need corner. They need safety. They need a quarterback. Because Minshew is, as much as Minshew took the world by storm, he's not, But let's say they also need edge help. Chase on. Now we're at 21, and we draft CeeDee Lamb. Because I'm in charge.
That's a lot of anxiety.
I'm in charge of this whole draft. But like if you're looking, yeah, I'm rigging it. It's fine.
For Lamb to follow us to 21.
Yeah, Lamb following us. So you got Burrow, Chase Young, Okuda, Wirfs, Tua, Justin Herbert, Derek Brown, Mekhi Becton, Isaiah Simmons, Jedrick Wills, Andrew Thomas, Henry Ruggs, Javon Kinlaw, Josh Jones, Jerry Jeudy, C.J. Henderson, Christian Fulton, Xavier McKinney, Grant Delpit, Clavon Chason, and then CeeDee Lamb right there, 21, new Wentz weapon for the next at least 5 years.
So are we not team move up here?
I'm 100%.
I'm a
100%
1,000% team move up, but I'm thinking about Cleveland Browns like overall 10. Like that's where you got to get to be in a safe spot.
Oh, this guy.
Ballsy about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not afraid of it. I mean, you got the picks to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you giving up? You giving up a third? You giving up?
I'm not giving up the second round. I'll tell you that much.
Got it.
The third. The second rounder stays put.
Next year's one.
If it's Yannick, it's next year's one.
Well, no Yannick.
We were talking about the draft, though.
No, I said no Yannick. You traded next year's one to move up.
The only way you trade next year's one is if you're moving into top 5.
So, well, I mean, are we?
I mean, there's no one there. I mean, unless you get Isaiah Simmons.
They're not going linebacker. They're going wideout.
Top 5. I'm saying, like think about what the Saints had to give up to get Marcus Davenport. They gave up.
They only moved up a few spots.
Yeah, they gave up a first.
I mean, that's the Saints. They marched the streets over a bad call. Like we're not.
I don't know. I mean, I'm still not. I would move up.
I will 100% move up.
Yeah, I'll shoot up to 10 though.
Like I think my limit in moving up is the Steelers draft last year. You give up your one this year, your third this year, your second next year to get one pick. And that's number 10. That keeps you at number 2 or second this year. That keeps you 3 fourths actually, 3/4 this year, 1/5, and you got a 6th. And that's a lot of depth that you can grab, especially at the linebacker position. Since Howie hates linebackers, I am going to stick by my notion that I think that he was bullied by linebackers when he was younger, and now he just hates them forever.
You think they have the nudes?
Yeah, the linebackers. They definitely like pinned up against the locker and said, "Listen, look at these pictures we got of you in your bedroom last night." It's because there's no way. Like, why do you ignore the position so much? Like, I get there's so much money to be allocated to all these positions, but to completely blatantly ignore this position that's just void of talent.
Do you think they drafted a linebacker this year at all?
3rd round.
Third.
If they still have the 3rd round pick.
It's pretty high. I was thinking probably 4th.
4th is Sternad.
I'm fine with Sternad.
Sternad's good.
Have you noticed people are starting to talk about linebacker at 21 now?
That's not going to happen. I love Patrick Queen.
No chance.
He's really good.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm seeing it mocks and here and there, but I don't know about that.
I mean, it's like the same people that stole my cornerback at us.
It hasn't happened since 1979. It hasn't happened for people like Levante David, Devin Bush, Derek. Go back in the 2000s, Derek Brooks, Ray Lewis. It hasn't happened for anybody outside from 1979. So it's going to happen for Patrick Queen. I love Patrick Queen, but I don't think it's going to happen.
So you guys are out. You're out at cornerback at 21 as well.
Yeah, I go second round with cornerback.
Yeah, AJ Terrell.
Yeah.
For Bryce Hall.
He might go earlier.
He might go earlier. Probably. I'm looking at like maybe the Chiefs at 32. I don't think if the Niners stick at 13. Well, even if they trade back, let's say the Eagles get to trade with Niners at 13 and they get 21. I don't expect the Niners to stay at 31. Probably someone's going to probably trade up and grab a quarterback. Maybe the Patriots, like the Patriots need quarterback, wide receiver, edge. So let's say they grab Justin Jefferson at 23 if he's there, and they trade back into the 1st round to grab maybe Jordan Love, just to have that fifth year option on him. Or who else needs a quarterback that to come in? Maybe the Dolphins trade up, and they're not. No, they have Tua. Someone else. I forget. I don't know who else needs it. Maybe the Jags trade up. Who knows? But maybe the Browns because Baker sucks.
I thought Baker was your boy.
Baker sucks.
Yo, Patriots are gonna try and get a quarterback, man.
You think this year or
100%.
next year? I thought they were going for Lawrence next year.
Maybe even
Unless
the Lions.
they tank for Lawrence, but maybe they go for Jordan Love though.
Yeah. End of the first round. Maybe the Lions come back in. Grab someone to succeed Matt Stafford.
That'd be kind of crazy. And they're what, top 4 pick in the draft? Like second overall?
Zach Berman just made not to completely change the topic. Zach Berman just made me feel a little easier. Howie Roseman has been willing to let a hole go unfilled until the draft or even after. He did it in 2017 at running back and cornerback. They signed Blount in May, and they signed Darby. They traded for Darby in August. Those two worked out pretty well. So we're all in a now mode. We're all so impatient, especially with this quarantine. This quarantine has been driving us crazy. We need things to happen. We need things to happen. We need things to happen right now. Like to cure our boredom, to cure us just staring at our phones and just sitting on our couches like we can't go anywhere right now. How we make a damn move so we can talk about it. And if he doesn't make a move, we just talk about it even more because we talk about how bad he is. But when he does make a move, we're like, oh shit, Howie season, yeah. It's both ways. But
I was okay with them like passing on Robbie Anderson and Perry.
Me too. Oh, me too. My max for Robbie Anderson was like 8 to 9 a year.
Would you guys be okay with Howie sacrificing picks for Odell?
Yeah, I just think when you bring Odell, you're not just bringing his skill set.
You're
bringing his luggage. You're bringing his luggage.
Like the dude lived right down the street from me, a block away from me. The dude brought drama to the table. So I mean,
I used to work in Edgewater, and I remember that he got into a car accident like right across the street from my job.
Dude ran me off the road on Boulevard East. If you know where Boulevard East is.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude ran me off the road, man. 3 years ago. And I didn't know it was him until I saw an NFL special. I saw his license plate, and it said, ooh, yeah. That was the license plate.
That is not his license plate.
It said, ooh, yeah. And then I saw the show. I saw the show, and I was like, that was Odell Beckham. Odell ran me off the damn road. And then I ended up moving down the road. And then my neighbor's like, Odell Beckham lives right down the street. So I'm walking around the neighborhood. I see the dude up in the window. He's playing basketball, pop a shot with like 3 chicks in the window. I'm like, this is crazy, man.
So much of a diva.
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing you get Odell, you're bringing the drama as well.
100%. It's not. That's not baggage. That's luggage. That's
like look at the national championship, man. Like that's their biggest moment, and you got him giving money to Justin Jefferson. Like, come on, man. They're shining him up. And then he smacked the cop on the ass. Like, it's so like
so wrong.
He's an all-world talent, but you're getting all-world drama with talent.
Like there's so many things that don't need to happen that he just does out of nowhere. Like he just needs the camera to be on him. And right now,
I've watched him at training camp, my dude. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a player act the way he did with surrounding a football team. Like I've never seen it. Like he would like pose for like women in the stands, and like he would flip his hair back and drip water and like look at people. I was like, yo, what is he doing? And he was dancing 50% of the time. So I'm like,
it sounds like an Old Spice commercial gone bad.
I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it.
You know what? The Eagles should just trade for Chris Godwin so he doesn't have to give up 12 to Tom Brady. He could just ask Harold Carmichael.
12 over here
To grab it. Not Carmichael.
Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham. To get, I'm sure Cunningham would be like, listen, you're a great talent. You're a Philly kid going to Penn State. You can have it. I'm sure that'll happen.
So I got a question. Are you guys 100% confident if Howie knows the draft? We get Lamb, Ruggs, or Judy, right? Are we confident enough to say that Wentz is in good hands with his wide receiver corps?
I think so. I mean,
we got to see what else is after Lamb or to me.
I'm grabbing another wide receiver in the back end. Too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like you're grabbing a Duvernay or
Evan Duvernay, Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
Van Jefferson.
Or
You're
AGG.
looking at
Antonio.
Andy Golden.
You're looking at I like Colin Johnson. He's huge. He's
He's a mammoth, bro.
Just because you could split him out wide, and then technically that's still kind of a 13 personnel set.
So are we crushing my KJ Hamler dreams right now, like as a second wide receiver? Like, is that what we're doing right now?
I got issues with KJ Hamler. I think he's explosive. I just is he a natural hand catcher or is he a body catcher? Like I didn't really like when I played wide receiver in college. I was kind of like a body catcher a little bit, and I didn't like. My coaches always would critique me like catching it in the body, and now that I'm like critiquing wide receivers, I see it and see how annoying it gets to me. Like there's moments where I could see where his hand placement was a better angle. He would have some catches. He's explosive as all hell. I think that's where he wins, and like every game there's a play where he just has a breakout play. I think he's dynamic in that fashion, but when I'm talking about like having your starting wide receiver, I want to see consistency catching the football.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I got to sacrifice Hamler, I guess.
Someone today said I saw, and I'm not gonna mention his name because he's a clown. Said,
wow, yo, you're on fire
tonight.
Said,
just that Dawkins jersey. That's what it is.
Said he'd much rather KJ Hamler over Jalen Reagor, and that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. I think ridiculous.
Jalen Reagor, there's a certain type of explosiveness that pops off the screen. Like you don't even like. There's some of the things that he does. It's like, like he's on a whole nother different level of speed at the moment. Like I don't know if it's like short area quickness is like ridiculous. But I know I heard he lost like 10 pounds.
Yeah, people are saying that he bulked up. He lost all that weight. He lost all that weight that he bulked up with and ran that. Still, he ran a 4.47, which is nothing to scoff at. Right. But apparently, we don't have proof of this. But the rumor is that he lost all that weight and he ran into 4.3s. So if he's running all that and he had all those explosive testing and the combine that he did, his verticals off the chain, his broad jump was off the chain, right. Your strength was off the chain. So you're adding all that, you have someone who's so physically gifted that he can do some good things in the Eagles offense. Hamler, you just gotta send him out. You gotta say go to Hamler. So he had
terrible quarterback play.
Oh, the quarterback was overthrowing him, underthrowing him. Yeah. He was off target all the time. And people are gonna.
His dad is a former Eagle.
Oh, he's a former Eagle. Yeah, he's a former Eagle. Yeah. I'm thinking of Van Jefferson. I think Van Jefferson's dad was a wide receiver coach.
Yep.
But we'll see. We got time.
All right, so we've given so much aphrodisiac to Eagle fans today. I really hope that everybody's staying safe out there with everything that's going on. Hopefully, we give you guys a good hour of just pure Eagles talk. Gayle, thank you for coming on, man. I know you guys have some big moves. I don't even want to talk about it right now, or are we keeping that a secret?
No, I mean, we're teaming up with Fox Sports, The Gambler, and we'll be be doing podcasts, doing live shows on the radio in Philly. So I mean, it's an exciting time. Obviously, the quarantine is taking over a lot of the news here with the virus and such, but I think we definitely have some big news dropping soon. I'm excited about the season. Obviously, sending warm wishes to all the family members that are dealing with this with the virus. But I think as football fans, we got to find some time to talk about something. And Eagles are always bringing the drama, so we always have something to talk about.
Good and bad, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and catch us next week on another episode of Flipping the Birds.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.
Go Birds.